Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Home Cookin'. You got the chef Alan over here, and you got the Bluska. What's good?
How much, Alan? What do you got on the menu today?
So we got a really fun episode this time, and we're happy to have someone on this episode, which we'll introduce in a little bit. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about the NFC East. We're gonna talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and maybe their quarterback, that it might be a changing of the guard, of like Prince Harry at QB. But other than that, we're gonna touch on a little bit of diversity in like minor league hockey, and yeah, go to the OT. So let's
All
go.
right, all right, Mr. Guest, why don't you reveal yourself right now a little bit? Tell the crowd a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Adam. I've been friends with you two for a few years now. 24 years old, go to King's for Criminology, and just struggling through online learning right now. But happy to be on with you guys.
So thank you for taking your time out of your day. Why don't you share with people how you know us? Maybe a little story that you can share.
Okay.
Well, we've got lots of stories. I guess it goes back to grade 7 recesses where the rivalry football happened, and like to think I had something to do with Bluska going in the CFL, playing him tight coverage in recess, but it was good, yeah, and lots of years up at the cottage, and couple drinks going there, and bear spray flying a little bit, but it's all in good fun.
Hey.
All right. To get you warmed up a little bit, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. It's gonna be like I called it trivia, but I don't think this is actually trivia. It's like more like this or that. So, are you ready?
Rapid fire.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
All right. Night or day?
Day,
Prince Harry or Prince Williams?
Prince Harry.
Nick Foles or Carson Wentz?
Ooh.
Carson Wentz.
NHL hockey or Olympic hockey in terms of just excitement, or maybe Stanley Cup playoffs versus Olympic playoffs?
I'll say Olympics when NHL players are there.
McKinnon or McDavid?
McDavid's got the throne still, but it's close.
Bud Light or Busch Latte?
Ooh. Gotta go Bud Light.
Oh.
And to wrap it up, Michael Schofield or Mike Scott?
Oh, Michael Schofield.
Really? Not Prison Mike? Who's Prison Mike, Adam?
Oh, who's Prison Mike? I don't know. It's Michael Schofield.
All right, Alan, why don't you take us away to our first topic?
Yeah, so as most of the listeners might know, or any football fans know, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing in the worst division of football at the moment. They're a bit of a meme. I don't know, we're already like, 10 games into the season, and just recently the Washington football team has temporarily taken the lead from the Philadelphia Eagles. But back to the Eagles, man. Like, I don't know where they're going. They're not looking that great. Carson Wentz has been struggling. I think he's in the top 5 for turnovers. They drafted a quarterback in the second round, but I've been hearing stories that he's not even ready to take over. And I was reading about it too, how the financial ramifications of moving on from Wentz isn't really worth it. So it's more of like, Wentz, this situation is how it is, and you're gonna be the one that brings it out. You're gonna be the one who has to take the charge. Doug Peterson, I know that Adam, you can allude to how he's been making some questionable calls, even though he was praised for his bold decision makings for the past couple of years and them getting the Super Bowl ring. But Adam, Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz, what's your take? Let's go.
Man, where do I start? I don't even know. It's pretty much a dumpster fire right now. In regards to Carson Wentz, there's no secret he's playing horrible right now. But I think there's a lot of other factors. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to make this team any better, especially throwing him in as a rookie. I think Doug is sitting on his laurels right now after winning the Super Bowl, and he's seems to not be moving on from anyone. I mean, Jason Peters, longtime Eagle, gave up 3 sacks last week, still playing him, still going to start him. I think it's time to move on from that kind of era. The team's getting older. O-line's been decimated with injuries. But I can't justify how Wentz is playing, but I don't think he's totally to blame. It definitely seems like he's playing hero ball. He's trying too hard, but he's been a problem, but I don't think he's the only problem on this team.
Yeah, you can point to a lot of different factors, especially that once your O-line kind of isn't protecting you, that gets in your head and you have to get the ball out quicker. You might be making decisions that are a little more desperate, a little more as hero ball, as you said. But looking at just the standings in the NFC East, you got the Eagles at 3-6-1, and everybody else is 3-7. Between those other 3 teams, where do you see the Eagles ending, at least in the New Year's and beyond that? Do you see them being that team that sits in at that 4 spot going into the playoffs?
I really don't, honestly. I watched the Washington football game. They look pretty good, honestly. Ron Rivera's got the team playing pretty well. I got some young guys on defense. I almost don't want them to win either. I'd rather them get a draft pick. Like, sure, you keep the playoff streak going, but chances are you're not going to win. But then on the other hand, anything can happen in football. You play the 5th wild card team, say their quarterback gets injured first quarter, anything can happen and you can win a game, but I can't see them going on a run this year. But we'll see what happens. They got a tough schedule coming up, so.
Okay. Speaking of that schedule,
as long as it's not the Cowboys, they're all good.
I'm with you on that one. I think the world is a better place when the Cowboys aren't doing very well.
Absolutely.
All right, but I'm gonna run down their remaining games this season. I want you to give me like a win or loss, and we'll see where we end up after these games. Okay, so next up they got the Seahawks at home.
L.
And then
they're not beating Russ, man.
And the week after, they're going all the way to the frozen tundra to meet my Packers. How do you feel about that game?
Getting the W?
Probably an L.
And then back home against the Saints.
I'd say that's their closest chance to a W. If Breeze isn't playing, I'd say we got a chance on that.
All right, I'll give him a W there.
Taysom's been good though.
I gotta give him at least one dub this year.
And then the week after, they're on the road against the Cardinals.
I'm gonna say dub. I'm not sold on Kyler Murray.
Ooh.
Whoa! I'll take hot, spicy.
I don't know.
And then the big division game against the Cowboys on the road.
Dub.
What'd you say?
W.
A dub? A dub? Okay.
W.
Yo. So we're saying 6 and what is it?
Oh,
6, 8, and 1.
We got one more game, and then back at home to finish off the season against the Reds. I'm gonna say like the Ohio State players say, the Washington football team.
The Washington.
I'm gonna say win. It's tough to sweep. It's tough to
7,
sweep in your own division.
Yeah.
So based on your projections there, that would mean they would end up they would end this last stretch of the season 4-2. And their final record, I guess, would be 7-8-1, which might just be enough to squeeze them in.
that would win by 2 games in the NFC East, man.
Are you kidding me, man?
They'd clinch by week 17.
Yeah, so you can rest Carson Wentz? Oh, man.
Yeah. or he gets injured in the last week again. But who knows?
Yeah, I do like your point about how you said that you'd want how do you say Doug Peterson and the organization to generally move on from that era of those players. Like I guess you're talking about like the Fletcher Cox and that core of those guys, and just kind of have a new breath of fresh air, something that shows you guys that it's going into a progressive new era rather than just the coattails of Super Foles and the Philly.
Yeah.
But at least you guys got your statue. You got your statue.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only Super Bowl they've ever won, so I think they're hanging on to it as long as they can. But I think it's time to move on because those guys are making a lot of money too. Like Fletcher Cox, one of the highest paid defensive linemen in the league, and he still plays well. Brandon Graham's having a great year too, but they're not getting any younger. So I think it's time to try and transition while still being somewhat competitive.
Do you run it back though? Like I know because when you look at the injuries that they've had, it's more of a it's like they caught him at a bad year, right? And like they started off wrong where their O-line was like the All-Pro and Brandon Brooks, he's out. Lane Johnson has been injured for most part of the season, and then you have all the receivers that are still not, or obviously aging, right? But they're getting they're not coming back strong, even if they are playing. Like Alshon Jeffrey, I don't even think he's played yet, right? And like I think he's on the chopping block. He's not going to be an impact player moving forward. Adam, do you think they should rebuild? Like you're saying it's time to move on, but do you think they just retool in the offseason and run it back with their better O-line? Or do you think it's like, it's time to blow this up?
Yeah. That's a tough question. In one way, I think they're kind of like stuck in the middle. Right, because they got a young quarterback, either or. Like if you wanted to go with Hurts, he's young, obviously, he just got drafted. Wentz is still young if you want to keep him. Sanders looks like a good young back when he's healthy, if he can stay healthy. And then you got like the older guys. You got like Johnson, and Kelsey's going to retire soon, I think. But then you got Brandon Brooks.
What are you doing with Ertz, man? I remember at the beginning of the year there was all those rumors that they didn't want to pay him, and they're leaning towards Goddard.
Yeah, you got Goddard.
I think Ertz is done, unfortunately.
As an Eagle or as a player?
Oh, as an Eagle, I think he'll put him on a contender again.
And then Deshaun Jackson. I think like he's played a total of 3 quarters for you guys.
Over the last 2 years. Like that's another guy, like you're just hanging on to, like back the first time he was in Philly, the guy was electrifying. But like he's played 3 quarters this season, probably 2 games in 2 years. Like it sucks to say because he's been a great Eagle, but like he's getting too old. He's hurt all the time. So,
all right, I want to say last thing, Adam, on this topic. Taking a look at receivers, do you think they will draft one? Because they kind of have a spotty record with drafting first round picks. Or
spotty record.
Yeah. With Nelson Aguilar, no hand Aguilar. Like, come on.
First of all, Aguilar's killing it in Las Vegas now, so that's awful. But yeah, they picked Rieger. Should have picked Justin Jefferson. I think he went like 2 picks later. Picked JJ Arcega-Whiteside 2nd round last year. Could have had DK. Could have DK Metcalf. 3 picks earlier. Could have picked Chase Claypool this year. Like, I don't know. I think they need a new wide receiver scout or something because it's not working. That guy should be gone.
They might need to get you the call on that one because.
Well, seriously, like how do you
give him the headset?
How do you not draft DK? Like especially the 2nd round. Like, Justin Jefferson's big. Like they're all, I don't know.
I think people are scared by the measurables because there has been an example of I think his name was Justin Blackman, or not Justin Blackman. There was a receiver where he has all the physical tools but never puts it together. And I think JJ Arcega